Elder Choi stood motionless before the massive crystal chamber of the Galactic Council. His ancient eyes swept across the tiered seats where representatives of 1,000 worlds sat in judgment. The Starborn Elder's weathered hands gripped the speaking podium, his silvery robes reflecting the soft blue light that filled the chamber. "You do not understand what you're about to approve," he said, his voice carrying centuries of wisdom. "I have watched humanity for over 300 years. They are unlike any species we've encountered." Representative Kim let out a dismissive laugh from his elevated platform. The Morgolian diplomat's scales shimmered as he leaned forward. "They still fight with chemical rockets and primitive AI. Their fastest ships barely reach light speed." Choi activated the holographic display. Images of Earth's history filled the chamber, ancient battles, modern wars, and the relentless pursuit of justice that defined human nature. "Look at their history," Choi urged. "When the humans caught criminals who fled across their world, they didn't stop at borders. When their enemies hid in mountains, they learned to fight in mountains. When their targets went underwater, they mastered the seas." The council members shifted uncomfortably as scenes of human persistence played out before them. Choi continued. "They tracked war criminals across decades. They hunted terrorists across continents. They never forgot their fallen, never abandoned their search for justice." "Primitive vengeance," Kim scoffed. "Nothing more." "No," Choi's voice hardened. "Something far more dangerous. Determination. Humans don't just fight wars, they wage them with their entire civilization. Their response to Pearl Harbor transformed their whole society into a war machine within months. The 9/11 attacks led to a 20-year hunt across their planet. The images shifted to show Earth's recent achievements: their first Mars colony, their quantum computers, their rapid advancement in AI technology. They're advancing faster than any species we've monitored. Their scientific progress is exponential. Representative Kim rose to his full height, his ceremonial armor gleaming. "The Morgolian Empire has conquered 12 star systems. Our fleet is the strongest in the galaxy. These humans haven't even unified their own world." "That's precisely what makes them dangerous," Choi countered. "Their divisions drive their competition. Their conflicts forge innovation. Every human nation races to develop better technology than their neighbors. They advance through rivalry." The council chamber filled with murmurs as Choi displayed more recent data. "Look at their response to crisis. When their planet faced climate disaster, they developed fusion power and atmospheric processors within decades. When asteroids threatened them, they built a planetary defense system. They turned their greatest challenges into their greatest advances." "The invasion plans are already approved," Kim declared. "The humans' resources will serve a greater purpose under Morgolian rule. Their division makes them weak." Choi's ancient eyes filled with sadness. "You're wrong. Their division makes them strong. Attack them, and you'll unite them. Threaten their existence, and you'll unleash something terrible. They will set aside all their differences to hunt down those who harmed them." The council leader raised his hand for silence. "Elder Choi, while we respect the Starborn's wisdom, the vote has been cast. The Morgolian Empire has jurisdiction over that sector. The humans' primitive state makes them eligible for advanced civilization integration." "Integration." Choi's voice rose. "You mean conquest. Listen to me. If you attack Earth, the humans won't bend. They won't break. They will adapt. They will learn. They will take your technology and improve it. And they will hunt you." "This discussion is closed," the council leader declared. "The integration will proceed as planned." Choi looked at each council member in turn, his ancient eyes heavy with foresight. "Remember my words when the humans come. Remember when they follow you across the stars. Remember when they hunt you from system to system. Year after year, decade after decade. They will never stop. They will never forget. They will never forgive." As the council chamber began to empty, Choi spoke his final warning into the fading light. "They will hunt you forever. and I will not be able to save you from what you're about to unleash." The Morgolian representatives laughed as they left, their confidence unwavering. But some of the older council members paused, touched by the weight of Choi's words. They had heard tales of the Starborn's wisdom, of their ability to see the patterns of history. As Choi walked slowly from the chamber, he felt the future shifting. Soon, the Morgolians would launch their invasion, believing it would be a simple conquest of a primitive world. Soon, they would learn why the Starborn watched humanity with such caution. Soon, they would understand the true meaning of human persistence. And it would be too late. The Morgolian warships emerged from hyperspace like dark stars, their massive forms blocking out the light from New Sol's sun. Admiral Park stood on the bridge of his flagship, his cold eyes fixed on the blue-green world below. The colony's pitiful defense grid sparkled to life, a web of outdated laser satellites trying to protect 4 million human lives. "Begin the attack," Park ordered. No warnings, no mercy. Colony leader Lee was reviewing agricultural reports when the first bombs fell. The building shook, screens flickering as emergency alerts flooded every channel. Through his office window, he watched streaks of fire tear through the morning sky. Morgolian dropships descended through the flames, their weapons already firing. "Get everyone to the shelters," Lee shouted into the colony-wide broadcast system. "This is not a drill. We are under attack." His hand shook as he activated the emergency protocols, knowing they were desperately insufficient against this level of technology. The orbital defense grid lasted exactly 6 minutes. The Morgolian ships tore through it like paper, their energy weapons far beyond anything humanity had developed. Lee watched helplessly as the colony's main dome cracked, emergency force fields struggling to maintain atmospheric pressure. On Earth, General Song slammed his fist on the Situation Room table. "How many colonies hit?" "New Sol, Mars Base Alpha, Europa Station," his aide reported. "We've lost contact with all of them. The Titan mining base is under heavy fire." Song studied the tactical displays, his veteran's eyes taking in the devastating disparity in technology. Earth's best ships were like children's toys compared to the Morgolian fleet. Their weapons barely scratched the alien shields. Their armor melted under enemy fire. "Launch everything we have," Song ordered. "Every ship, every missile, every fighter. And get me the UN Security Council. We need to unite. Now." But humanity's response was too fragmented, too slow. Nation argued with nation about command structure, while the Morgolians methodically destroyed Earth's outer defenses. The lunar bases fell within hours. Mars held out for 3 days before its domes were breached. Admiral Park watched the slaughter with satisfaction. "These humans are even weaker than we expected. Their ships are primitive. Their tactics are predictable. Their technology is centuries behind ours." In New Sol, Lee led a group of survivors through maintenance tunnels as the colony burned above them. He recorded everything he saw on his neural implant, documenting the invasion for Earth. The Morgolian ground troops were ruthless, efficient, and completely confident in their superiority. "Keep moving," Lee whispered to the shell-shocked civilians. "We have to reach the deep bunkers." He knew most would die, but some had to survive. Some had to tell Earth what happened here. General Song received Lee's transmission just before New Sol's communication grid went dark. He watched the footage in grim silence, noting every detail of Morgolian weapons and tactics. "Send this to every military lab we have," he ordered. "I want our scientists studying their technology. Find me weaknesses." The Morgolians celebrated their easy victory, their ships taking up orbital positions around Earth. Admiral Park prepared his victory speech, confident that the primitive humans would surrender within days. But in underground bunkers and hidden laboratories, humanity was changing. The sight of their colonies burning had done something that centuries of internal conflict could not. It had united them. Chinese scientists shared data with American engineers, Russian factories retooled to match Indian designs, European AI systems merged with African quantum computers. And in a secret facility deep beneath the Korean peninsula, General Song met with the world's military leaders. They think they've won, he told the grim-faced commanders. They think their technology makes them invincible, but they've made a mistake worse than any tactical error. He pointed to the screens showing the burning ruins of New Seoul. They've made us angry. They've given us a reason to stop fighting each other and start fighting them. And they have no idea what humanity is capable of when we work together. The Morgolians celebrated in orbit, drinking to their easy conquest. But they didn't notice the changes beginning below. They didn't see the factories converting, the laboratories working round the clock, the soldiers training for new kinds of war. Admiral Park had won the first battle, but he had no idea that he had just started a war that would change the galaxy forever. The real fighting hadn't even begun. Director Han hadn't slept in 3 days when they finally cracked the Morgolian scout ship's encryption. His team had captured the vessel in a daring raid, losing 6 good people in the process. But as the alien computer systems revealed their secrets, Han knew their sacrifices hadn't been in vain. "Look at this," he said, pointing to the decoded schematics. "Their shield technology isn't as advanced as we thought. They compensate with raw power, but the modulation is crude compared to our experimental quantum shields." The underground facility buzzed with activity as scientists and engineers worked around the clock. The captured ship became their greatest teacher. Every system and components studied and tested until its secrets were laid bare. In another section of the vast complex, Commander Yoon ran combat simulations. The holographic display showed Earth ships practicing new tactics, moves no Morgolian would expect. Again, she ordered as the simulation reset. "They think in straight lines. We'll think in curves." Yoon had studied every piece of combat footage from the initial invasion. The Morgolians were predictable, relying on their technological superiority rather than tactical innovation. Her new doctrine would turn that predictability against them. "Their ships are faster and stronger," she explained to her pilots. "But they always attack in standard formations, always follow the same patterns. We'll make them dance to our rhythm instead." Meanwhile, Dr. Ba worked in her weapons lab, surrounded by a strange fusion of human and alien technology. She held up a prototype rifle, its frame built from Earth metals, but its core salvaged from Morgolian weapons. "The aliens think bigger is better," she told her team. "They build massive ships with massive guns, but we've always known that precision beats power." Her new hybrid weapons were smaller than Morgolian equivalents but far more efficient. The breakthrough came when Han's team discovered a fundamental flaw in Morgolian shield harmonics. They never expected anyone to analyze their technology this deeply, he explained to the military council. "Their shields have a resonance frequency. Hit it right, and they shatter." Commander Yoon integrated this knowledge into her tactical doctrine. Her pilots learned to fire precisely timed bursts that matched the shield weakness. In simulations, even small Earth ships could now threaten Morgolian cruisers. Dr. Ba's weapons program accelerated, producing devices that combined human innovation with alien power sources. "They gave us the pieces," she said, watching her latest prototype destroy a test target. "We're just building something they never imagined." The first real test came when a Morgolian patrol encountered an Earth destroyer near Mars. The alien captain opened fire, expecting another easy victory. Instead, the human ship danced through the energy beams, its movements unlike anything in Morgolian combat doctrine. The Earth ship's weapons punched through the alien shields like they weren't there. The Morgolian captain's last transmission was one of pure confusion before his ship exploded. Director Han watched the sensor logs with satisfaction. "Every battle teaches us more," he said. "Every encounter makes us stronger." His team was already incorporating new data from the skirmish. The news spread through the Morgolian fleet. Something had changed. The helpless humans were fighting back with weapons that shouldn't exist, using tactics that made no sense by Morgolian standards. Commander Yoon pressed the advantage, deploying her trained squadrons in hit-and-run attacks. Earth ships would appear from nowhere, strike with devastating precision, and vanish before the Morgolians could respond. Dr. Baz's hybrid weapons began appearing across Earth's forces. Ships were retrofitted with new systems that turned Morgolian technology against itself. The aliens found their own weapons being used in ways they never conceived. In his command center, Director Han received reports of increasing Morgolian losses. They thought they could just take what they wanted, he said, studying the battle data. They never expected us to take their technology and make it better. The tide hadn't turned yet, but the momentum was shifting. Humanity had done what it always did: adapt, improve, overcome. The Morgolians' greatest advantage was becoming their greatest vulnerability, and they never saw it coming. Captain Moon's stealth fleet moved through the darkness of space like shadows, their modified ships invisible to Morgolian sensors. The supply base hung in orbit around Jupiter's moon Europa. Its defenses focused outward, never expecting an attack from what seemed like empty space. "All ships, activate target locks," Moon whispered, though there was no need for silence in space. Old habits died hard. Remember the colonies. Remember New Sol. The Earth ships struck like lightning. Their new hybrid weapons, built from stolen Morgolian technology, tore through the base's shields at precisely calculated frequencies. Supply ships exploded in silent bursts of fire and frozen oxygen. Admiral Park received the news of the supply base's destruction with growing rage. "Impossible," he snarled. Their ships couldn't get that close without detection, but the evidence was undeniable. Humanity had somehow developed stealth technology that surpassed Morgolian sensors. In her underground laboratory, Engineer Kang made the final adjustments to her FTL tracking device. She had discovered that Morgolian ships left tiny quantum disturbances in space-time when they jumped to faster than light speed. These disturbances were like fingerprints, unique and impossible to hide. "They're not as clever as they think," Kang explained to military officials. "Their FTL drives are powerful but crude. They leak quantum particles like a broken faucet. Her tracking system could follow these particles across light years of space." Moon's success inspired other commanders. Earth ships began appearing everywhere, striking Morgolian positions with surgical precision before vanishing into the void. The aliens' superior technology meant little when they couldn't find their enemies. "They're learning too fast." Admiral Park raged as another supply convoy was destroyed. "This isn't possible. They were primitives months ago." His officers had no answers. Human adaptation was beyond their experience. Earth's factories worked at full capacity, incorporating captured alien technology into new weapons and ships. What had taken the Morgolians centuries to develop, humanity reverse-engineered and improved in months. Kang's tracking devices proved devastating. Morgolian ships could no longer hide or retreat. Every FTL jump left a trail that human vessels could follow. The hunters became the hunted. "Your ships are twice as powerful as ours," Moon told a captured Morgolian captain. "But power means nothing if you can't hit your target." The captain's confused expression showed he still didn't understand how completely humanity had changed the rules of space warfare. Admiral Park ordered his fleet to consolidate, abandoning outlying positions to maintain stronger defenses. But this only gave humanity's forces more targets. Moon's stealth fleet struck deeper into Morgolian territory, destroying shipyards and production facilities. The alien invaders found themselves in an impossible situation. Their superior technology was being turned against them. Their tactical doctrine, unchanged for centuries, proved useless against humanity's unconventional warfare. Engineer Kang continued improving her tracking systems, making them smaller and more powerful. Soon, every Earth ship carried one, turning the vast darkness of space into a well-lit hunting ground. They thought technology alone would win their wars, Moon said as his fleet prepared for another raid. They never understood that technology is just a tool. It's the mind that wields it that matters. Humanity's industrial might, finally unified by the alien threat, reached full awakening. Factories that once built cars now produced spacecraft. Computer networks that once ran social media now coordinated military strikes. The Morgolians began to feel real fear. They had expected a simple conquest of a primitive species. Instead, they had awakened something unprecedented, a civilization that could take their own weapons and make them better. Admiral Park watched his mighty fleet grow weaker each day, unable to stop the relentless human attacks. The tables had turned, and for the first time, the Morgolians understood what it meant to be hunted. The war had truly begun. Commander Ney studied the holographic star map, his eyes tracing the routes of fleeing Morgolian leaders. Operation Manhunt had entered its third month, and already they'd captured or eliminated 6 high-ranking alien commanders. They're running to the Centauri sector, he told his team. Their leadership thinks distance will save them. A thin smile crossed his face. They still don't understand what we are. Task Force leader Shin's ships materialized in the Proxima system, just as a Morgolian diplomatic vessel attempted to dock. The aliens had barely time to register shock before precision strikes disabled their engines. Distance doesn't matter, Shin transmitted to the trapped vessel. You can run to the edge of the galaxy. We'll follow. Elder Choi's warning echoed through Morgolian communication channels as another leader fell. They began to understand. Humans didn't just fight wars, they hunted their enemies to the ends of space. Naz intelligence network expanded daily. Captured Morgolian officers broke under interrogation, revealing hidden bases and escape routes. Each captured leader provided paths to find others. They hide in luxury stations, Ney briefed his strike teams, in protected enclaves, behind fleets and shields. He pointed to their next target. None of that will save them. The Morgolian leadership started seeing humans everywhere. Shin's units struck simultaneously across dozens of systems. Ney's intelligence operatives infiltrated their most secure facilities. How? A captured Morgolian admiral asked. How do you keep finding us? Nash showed him the tracking device. You taught us FTL travel. We learned to track it. Every jump you make leaves a trail. Every sanctuary you find becomes a trap. The alien empire's command structure began to crumble. Leaders turned on each other, each trying to save themselves. Some tried surrendering. Others fled deeper into unknown space. None escaped. Shin's task force developed a reputation for appearing impossibly fast. Wherever they run, we're already there, she told her crews. No delays, no hesitation, no mercy. The hunted Morgolian leaders finally understood Elder Choi's words. Humans didn't just defeat enemies, they pursued them relentlessly. Their determination didn't fade with time or distance. Naz operation teams worked with cold efficiency. They'd learned the layout of every Morgolian ship class, the protocols of every base. Their raids became surgical, unstoppable. Your people could have lived in peace with us, Ney told a cornered Morgolian general. Instead, you chose war. Now you learn why Elder Choi warned you about us. The pursuit spread across hundreds of light years. Shin's forces developed new tactics for each environment: gas giant stations, asteroid bases, planetary bunkers. No hiding place proved effective. Morgolian leaders began taking desperate measures. Some tried hiding among civilian populations. Others attempted to disguise themselves as lower ranks. Ney's intelligence network found them all. They thought size of space would protect them, Shin said during a mission briefing. They didn't realize humans crossed oceans in wooden boats to find their enemies. We crossed deserts on foot to deliver justice. Space is just another ocean. The systematic manhunt continued with mechanical precision. Each captured leader revealed more targets. Each failed escape attempt provided more data for tracking others. Fear spread through the Morgolian Empire. Their invincible leaders were vanishing one by one. Their safe havens were becoming graves. The unstoppable hunters were everywhere. Naz operation teams never tired, never slowed. They developed better tools, better methods, better intelligence with each success. The pursuit became a perfected art. The galaxy watched in awe and terror as humanity demonstrated its most frightening quality, the absolute refusal to let their enemies escape justice. The hunters would never stop, and the Morgolians finally understood what that meant. Council leader Bake stood at the grand window of the Galactic Council chamber, watching tactical displays show the systematic fall of the Morgolian Empire. Red dots representing fallen systems blinked out one by one as humanity's forces advanced inexorably through space. "We should have listened," Bake whispered. Beside him, Representative Kim had lost his previous arrogance, his scales dull with stress as another Morgolian fortress world fell to Earth's fleet. Admiral Park's desperate transmission played before the full council. His once proud face was haggard, his uniform dirty. "Please," he begged, "we request immediate peace negotiations. The humans, they're everywhere. We can't stop them." General Song's response was broadcast on all frequencies, his voice cold and clear. "Unconditional surrender. Nothing less." The council chamber erupted in chaos as the implications became clear. The Morgolian Empire, once the greatest power in known space, was being dismantled piece by a species they dismissed as primitive months ago. "How can they advance so fast?" Kim asked nobody in particular. "Their ships now outmatch our best designs. Their weapons cut through our strongest defenses. This is impossible." Blake watched as another delegation arrived, the Centauri Alliance rushing to declare their neutrality. They weren't alone. Species after species distanced themselves from the Morgolians, terrified of drawing humanity's attention. "They turned our own technology against us," Park's voice cracked in a new transmission. "But they made it better, stronger. We can't match their production speed, their innovation, their determination." The Council's tactical displays told the story. Human fleets had adapted Morgolian technology, improved it, and mass-produced it at an unprecedented rate. Their ships appeared everywhere, striking with terrible precision. "Remember what Elder Choi said," Bak addressed the council. "He warned us about their ability to adapt, their relentless nature. We should have listened." Kim received reports of another devastating loss. The Morgolian core worlds were now under attack. How did they find them? Those coordinates were our most guarded secret. But humanity had unraveled every secret, cracked every code, tracked every movement. The Morgolian Empire's strength had become its weakness, their rigid hierarchy falling apart under human assault. Admiral Park's final transmission came from his burning flagship. "They're inside our shields. They've developed weapons we've never seen. Please, help us, anyone." General Song's response was broadcast across the galaxy. "You brought this upon yourselves. Surrender, and we'll show mercy. Resist, and we'll dismantle every piece of your empire." The Galactic Council watched in stunned silence as humanity's forces executed perfect combat maneuvers, using strategies that defied conventional space warfare. They fought like no species had ever fought before. "We must sue for peace," Buck announced to the Council. "Before they turn their eyes to us, we must acknowledge our error in allowing this invasion." Other council members quickly agreed, their previous confidence replaced by fear. They had witnessed humanity's transformation from a primitive species to a terrifying force that had broken the galaxy's most powerful empire. The final blow came when human ships appeared in orbit around the Morgolian throne world. Their demands were simple: total surrender or total destruction. Admiral Park, broken and defeated, signed the surrender document before the full Galactic Council. General Song accepted it without emotion, his eyes already looking to the future. "Let this be a lesson," Song addressed the Council. "Humanity will defend itself. We will pursue those who harm us. We will never stop, never forget, and never show mercy to aggressors." As the council session ended, Bake found himself remembering Elder Choi's exact words. The warning they had ignored. The terrible price of their arrogance. Humanity had not just defeated the Morgolians, they had changed the galaxy forever. And every species now knew, never provoke the humans. They will hunt you forever. The Galactic Assembly Hall fell silent as Admiral Park was led in chains to face justice. The once proud Morgolian commander stood before representatives of every human colony he had attacked. His trial would mark the end of humanity's first interstellar war. General Song read the charges: genocide, mass destruction of civilian populations, unprovoked aggression against peaceful settlements. Each word fell like a hammer in the quiet hall. Elder Choi attended the proceedings, his ancient eyes full of sorrow and vindication. His warning, once dismissed, was now carved into memorial walls across a dozen worlds. Future generations would study how the Morgolian Empire's arrogance led to its downfall. "We establish today the Song Doctrine," Earth's chancellor declared to the assembled galactic representatives. "Any attack on human worlds will face total retaliation. We will not show restraint. We will not forget. We will not stop until justice is served." Humanity had emerged from the war transformed. Their ships now patrolled vast sectors of space, their technology a fusion of Earth innovation, and captured alien science. But more than their military power, their reputation had become their strongest defense. "The humans do not seek empire," Elder Choi explained to his students at the Galactic Academy. "They desire peace. But threaten them, harm their people, and they will hunt you to the ends of the universe." Park's trial lasted 1 month. The evidence was overwhelming. Millions dead, colonies destroyed, civilian targets deliberately chosen. His final words echoed with regret. "We thought them primitive. We were wrong. They were sleeping giants." The sentence was life imprisonment on a maximum security world. Some called for death, but humanity chose to demonstrate both justice and mercy. Park would live to see the new order he had inadvertently created. Earth's cities buzzed with activity as humanity expanded into space. Their ships now carried both weapons and olive branches. Trade flourished with peaceful species while potential aggressors kept their distance. "We learned from the Morgolians," Song told the Galactic Council. "We learned how not to behave in this galaxy. Power without wisdom is meaningless. Technology without ethics is dangerous." The Song Doctrine became the foundation of human space law. It promised protection to allies and devastation to enemies. Other species studied human history, understanding at last what Elder Choi had tried to warn them about. In the Galactic Academy, young beings from 1,000 worlds learned about humanity's rise. They studied Earth's wars, its perseverance, its unwavering pursuit of those who wronged it. Remember, their instructors would say, the humans crossed oceans in wooden ships to hunt their enemies. They crossed space in stolen technology to defeat the Morgolians. Distance means nothing. Time means nothing. They never stop. The former Morgolian Empire's worlds were rebuilt under human protection. Their people learned to live in peace, their military ambitions forever crushed by the memory of defeat. Elder Choi's warning became prophecy. Cross the humans, and they will hunt you forever. These words were now studied by every species considering expansion or conquest. Humanity had changed the galaxy's balance of power not through conquest, but through determination. Their reputation was sealed not by cruelty, but by relentless pursuit of justice. The war was over, but its lesson would echo through the stars forever. Never threaten humanity. Never harm their people. Never forget they will hunt you down. And never ignore the warnings of those who know better. End document.